Hello and welcome to The Difference. Kendall and I are excited for you to join today's program because today we're going to be discussing a topic that a lot of people wonder about but oftentimes ignore, and that topic is purpose. I believe that each and every one of us really have two purposes. There's a general purpose that God has for each and every human being He's created. For example, the Bible says, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. No one gets to escape that purpose. It's something He requires of each and every individual. But then again, there are things that He has created specifically for you. And it's by fulfilling the general purpose that you find your specific purpose. Today, we're going to discuss that right here on this program, and we're so glad to have you with us.
That's right. Something that I know is you tell us growing on purpose, that value is added when engagement is increased. And so that's our word for this year, is to grow. And I believe with God that we can do all things through Christ. So today on The Difference, we're going to help you find your spark and fan the flame so you can shine brightly.
Success Magazine lists today's guest, Simon T. Bailey, as one of the top 25 people to help you reach your business goals. Today, we're going to cover some of his practical advice and tactics that can make a difference in everything we do. Simon T. Bailey is not only considered a success by business journals and magazines, major corporations, but I assure you he is going to be one of the best conversations you've heard lately. His energy and zeal for life are literally contagious, and you're going to find out more about that when we come back.
Do you want to learn more about the show? Follow us on Facebook at Matt and Kendall Hagee, on Instagram at Matt Hagee and at Kendall Hagee, on Twitter at Matt Hagee and at Kendall Hagee. The Difference with Matt and Kendall Hagee.
From humble beginnings in a room of just 25 people to a global ministry that reaches millions, Hagee Ministries has proclaimed the uncompromising gospel for over 60 years.
Our Vision 2020 campaign was created with a goal of continuing those efforts with new technology to serve those in need for decades to come. Your commitment today will help us reach the next generation tomorrow.
For your generous gift of any amount to Hagee Ministries, you'll receive a Catch the Vision magnet. For your gift of $150 or more, you will receive a Catch the Vision magnet and a Vision 2020 ceramic scripture tile.
Your generous contribution is blessing millions who desperately need to hear and receive the promises of God. Your gift will produce a great harvest in the future.
Send your tax-deductible gift today. Call the number on your screen or visit jhm.org/vision.
Cornerstone Church invites you to Feast 19, October 25th through the 27th. Join us for 3 days full of midway games, food, free rides, and spectacular fireworks. Each evening offers inspirational speakers, special guest Tony Evans, and worships with C.C. Winans, including Pastor Matt Hagee. Sunday evening will conclude with a night to honor Israel featuring Pastor John Hagee. Celebrate at Cornerstone Church, October 25th through the 27th. For more information, call the number on the screen or visit sacornerstone.org/feast.
You know, there's people that you get to visit with, and every conversation makes you better. That's our guest today, Simon T. Bailey. He's an innovator, breakthrough strategist, author, and educator who shapes the lives of men and women around the world, both personally and in business. Simon, it's always great to have you here with us.
So good to see you. Thank you so much.
You know, I love that, a breakthrough strategist. I like that description because oftentimes when people are trying to solve a problem, they need a breakthrough strategy.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and you've created one in your most recent work, Spark. Tell us about it.
So Spark is realizing when you find your spark, you find your joy. When you find your joy, you find your voice. And when you find your voice, you find your breakthrough. But you never tap into your voice or find your spark until you break away from the old way of thinking. And breaking away allows you to break down the process so that you can break through and have the spark.
I'm gonna need to get the book just to remember all that.
I know. I'm like, is that all in page one? I was listening to you talk. I'm like, about Walt Disney World, and you said about the thing that intrigued me was that you were starting out and you went, but you took the place cards and you moved yourself next to the president.
Early bird gets the worm.
I'm like, he was there at 6:45, but he wanted to be right next to him.
Yes, yes. And what I learned, Disney didn't hire me to do a job because a job stands for just overboard. They hired me to go to work and to create a moment. And when I had that epiphany, that's when I found the spark. So that's why it took them 2 years to hire me, made 10 interviews and a 10-page psychological analysis from Gallup because they didn't want to hire people that had an average way of thinking. They wanted to hire a spark that would make a difference for their guests.
Yeah, they didn't want somebody to fulfill a place or a position. They wanted somebody to create something. And really, you know, there's a lot of people that I think with that understanding and perspective about the work that they do, they create so much more value for the organization that they're engaged with.
Totally.
You know, there's a lot of people who tell you where they work, you know, but they will not tell you, you know, what it is that they do that makes a difference in the lives of others. And I think when they find that difference that they're making, then they suddenly recognize, hey, this is what I do that nobody else can do.
Absolutely.
You know, so what is it that you see in, you know, as you talk about the old way of thinking and you know, breaking out of paradigms? These are familiar phrases that, you know, maybe 20 years ago, people heard them and thought, well, that's interesting. But now they hear it, oh, yeah, you know, everybody's talking about breaking away from the old and on with the new. But what do you see when people really start to understand and grasp that they have to have a unique ability to accomplish their task that is strictly theirs?
Yeah, so what happens is people tap into their purpose and they stop chasing a paycheck to recognize, how do I add value where I am? Yeah. How do I see the new in the old and the old in the new and become relevant wherever I'm at? Because it's not about what I can get from you, it's about what I can give to you. Yeah. And when you do that, I come from a place of abundance and love instead of scarcity and holding on.
Yeah, absolutely. You have an opportunity to invert what most people consider to be the mainline thinking.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you point out, you know, bringing the old into the new and the new into the old, because I'm often a proponent of the fact that principles never change. Application does.
That's right. That's
you know,
right.
but principles never change. And so whenever people start to want to really innovate, sometimes they say, hey, you're abandoning a principle. We can't do that. You know, I mean, the principles of flight haven't changed since the Kitty Hawk took off.
Exactly.
And if you abandon those principles, you're going to crash,
yes.
you know. So, you know, what are the things that people see in terms of customer service? Because Kendall and I talk about this all the time. In my opinion, by and large, customer service, if it's not dead, it's like on the endangered species list. It needs to be
on. You
on.
can't go to a store anymore,
a watch
and
group
somebody
needs
is
to
there
advocate
to
for customer
help you with
service.
kids' shoes or
You
anything.
know.
I'm like, can anybody help me here?
So what I teach, and this is being with the folks at Chick-fil-A, that I was one of my great clients, is customer service is dead. It is about customer love, or what I call platinum service. Yeah. So in the 20th century, customer service was going the extra mile. But in the 21st century, platinum service, or customer love, is going the extra inch. From your left ear to your right ear is 6 inches. So what we need people to do is to think
You talking
about
my ears?
what
Yeah,
they do.
I'm almost gonna really 6 inches. Let me see, where's my phone? Okay, yeah, you go. Yeah, that's right.
What we need people to do is to think about what they do, not just do it. So that's why when you go to Chick-fil-A, the people that work at Chick-fil-A are a little bit different than other places because they go the extra inch. What's the extra inch? They ask you your name. What other place asks you your name for a 2-minute experience that's over just like that? But that is customer love that comes through when a person hears their name. Oh, that's my name.
That's my name.
Absolutely.
I mean, just like how you greeted me, you do my kids' names. And then also you mentioned in your book about making your customer your guest. Don't look at them as a customer, they're your guest.
So I'm your guest here on the show, and today I was greeted by Violet. And she says, hello, how are you? And I was like, great. Oh, she went the extra inch by standing up to greet me with a smile.
Well, and you know, in terms of the conversation about principles and applications, one of the reasons why customer service is an endangered species is because technology has created a brand new application. It's created a convenience. It's created an opportunity for people to acquire things that, you know, customer service used to create. And I think a lot of times people felt that customer service was a means to an end for transaction.
Yes.
If I'm nice to the customer, he'll buy the washer. If I'm nice to the customer, he'll get the car. You know, but whenever somebody really finds value in another person, the transaction isn't the goal, it's just the interaction.
Right.
And that interaction can lead to a multitude of engagements. You know, so when you visit, you know, with Chick-fil-A or a retail business, you know, they obviously see a lot of this and value it in terms of their corporate culture and the outcomes of what they're trying to accomplish as a business. What do you say to people who, you know, they're trying to create value in themselves, how do they treat the world?
Yeah, so I think three things. Number one, wherever you are, be high touch, not just high tech. Number two, how do I listen to understand what you need instead of listening to respond? And then number three, how do I identify how to create an experience that benefits you, not just me? So in other words, how do we move from me to we? And when we do that, I become a value to you.
Yeah, it really does take the responsibility of focusing on yourself out of the equation. Yes. And learning to love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah, you zoom to the background and you let it be all about them.
Yeah. How can I help
forward.
You becomes a very real statement.
Totally. It's kind of like in Jerry Maguire, help me, help you.
Yeah,
right?
at least it worked out for their relationship. You might not want to be that passionate with everybody.
No.
Yeah, it might be a little standoffish. When we come back, Simon T is going to help us unpack some of the really rich nuggets that he just developed right there in that one conversation. But before we go any further, you're going to want to stop by the kitchen. We're here with our difference maker in the kitchen, Miss Stacy Lyn Harris. So good to have you again.
Good to see you.
What are we fixing today?
So this is a chicken with potatoes and gremolata, and it is amazing.
Now, you just said a word I've never heard, gremolata. What is it?
All that is just a mixture of parsley, lemon and limes or limes, and garlic and salt and pepper. And you will not believe, when you bring your chicken out and you put it on there on that hot chicken, it will make the most beautiful smell just go through the house.
It's one of those aroma house things?
Yes,
now,
yes.
Is all this stuff that you can grow like in your garden?
You can, and actually I do have a lemon tree at home that it's outside in a pot, since it's a little bit too cold to put in the ground, but it works, and I get the biggest, most beautiful lemons you've ever seen. So yes,
this is all the stuff that you can grow in your backyard.
You can,
and it makes a gremolata.
It does. Of course not. Well, you can grow chickens in your backyard. I did that. Now, and we have wild boars, so we can do some chickens. I mean, some sausage. So
take us through this process.
A recipe that anybody can do.
Anybody, and I do this probably once a week at home because it's so easy.
Oh, let me turn that down.
So what I need you to do, we have been boiling potatoes and lemons. There you go. And I know that it's weird to boil a lemon, but it makes them soft and juicy. And in a minute, I'm going to need you to take it out.
So I'm taking out the potatoes right now.
Yes. Wow. And we're going to dry them off. We're going to shake them around, dry them off. And the reason we're doing that...
better to kind of do that like in one of those colander things so they'll drain?
Yes, it would be great. But we just don't have a sink here, so we're doing it this way. It's okay to do. And then we're going to put it around here.
Stunts on the difference.
Yeah, that's right. We make everything work.
With what we have.
Yes. So, and that's going to create a nice brown on the potatoes, and the inside is going to be luscious and creamy and delicious.
That makes it soft, and then we're going to roast them.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So we're going to roast them, and we're going to put some garlic in between.
I see sausage. Tell me how we do the zest thing.
So the gremolata. Now I need you to do that. So what you're going to do?
I got my zester.
Yes, is take the zest of the lemon,
as seen on TV aisle in your local
the lemons
store.
and the limes.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do, I'm just going to dump this out right here. And in a minute, you're going to just chop that all together with the zest. And you're also going to chop this into tiny, tiny pieces and just make it really, really nice and fine. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it to make it.
Comes lemons.
There you go. To make it a little coarse, so that it will.
Now, do you zest the fresh ones or do you zest the boiled ones?
You will zest the fresh for sure.
Got it.
Now, those, I'm going to have Kendall stabbing them all over.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, it's going to be fun. Here you go. Aggression out. There you go. Yeah, perfect.
Easy.
Isn't that great? Okay, so then I'm going to cut them in half.
They're so soft.
And what that's going to do, we're going to stuff the chicken, and that's going to add like a lot of steam inside the chicken that's going to cook it from the inside out. So you don't get the outside.
So it flavors the chicken on the inside.
It does.
And
now,
this flavors the chicken on the outside when it's over.
Yes.
Got it.
So the thing about this is...
Now, folks, if we're going a little too fast for you, Stacy Lyn, what's your website?
It's StacyLynHarris.com.
And that's where you can find chicken and sausage gremolata.
That's exactly right. So I'm going to put these right down in the middle.
In there.
And if you have some parsley stalks, you can put that down in here. Or if you have thyme stalks, or you have, any kind of herb. Basil would be fine. Oregano would be good, just depending on what you're doing.
Check my zesting there.
Oh, yeah. Now, I want you to chop all of that all together really, really small.
No
and just
problem.
blend it, and it's going to be great.
Slicer in our house.
I think if I went to Ancestries.com,
yes,
I would have probably, you know those guys at the Japanese
yes,
restaurant?
It's hot. There
I
we
probably
go.
got
Thank
some
you.
of that in my blood.
Yeah, well, that's fun. And, you know, creativity in the kitchen.
She said, I don't care.
No, I believe it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't, but, okay, so then also we're going to put a little bit of garlic right down into
the roasting pan.
yes.
pan.
With,
now, do you put any oil or anything on that burger?
I do like to put olive oil on it, and you could do
drizzle it
butter,
on.
olive oil, whatever you want to do. And there we go, just like this. And then salt and pepper. Since I've touched the chicken, will you get a little bit of salt and pepper and put it all over? Now, the other thing about seasoning, you want to put a lot of seasoning.
So more
is better.
It's not
for
less is
chicken
better for
or
this.
steak or anything. Yes, more is better.
Because it cooks out, right? I mean,
yeah, it does.
Well, it absorbs, it cooks. If you want to taste it, you need more of it.
A little bit.
Is that good?
That's good. And then a little bit of pepper. Okay, and then it's ready for the oven. So
now, where does
we
the
are so
sausage
excited.
come into the mix here?
Oh, I am so glad you said that. See, we have got somebody on board that is paying attention.
Well, I'm just going by the title. It says chicken and sausage gremolata.
Okay,
If there's a trick
they're
question
the
here, let me
sausage
know.
Now I hear that you're like the cutter of anything in your house.
is.
You love to get the
I am
knives out.
Hispanic, and we are good
There
with
you go.
knives.
So I don't want to. Well, I could touch it because it's going in the oven.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna do this. Just put these all over the place. Now this is going to give this
Now,
a
do they need
great
to be,
smoky
you're
flavor.
getting pretty
Is there a
particular about where they
pattern
go.
There's no pattern. No, and I like to
Just
stick
toss
it
them
in
and throw 'em?
between, like in where the joints are.
What does that do? What
It
is-
is going to give it the best,
Well, the
smokiest
sausage has
flavor.
a lot of the fat
Oh
in
my
it
gosh!
that
Yes.
puts
that the
flavor.
chicken might not have.
Folks, fat
Yes.
adds flavor.
Yes,
Don't
yes.
forget it. I don't care what your cardiologist
Yes.
says, fat adds flavor.
And if you have a big family like I do, I'll put 2 of these in the oven.
'Cause they'll eat 'em both.
And we do. We eat them both. And my son lives in Birmingham, and he has. Well, he goes to UAB.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, roll tide. And so, because that's University of Alabama, Birmingham, for people that don't know that.
Yeah.
And anyway, he comes home on the weekends, and I'll send him one of these back, and he'll eat on that like the whole week.
That's a week's meal.
So it's an awesome thing for a big family to have these.
Now, the way you've got this sliced, you don't, like if this were a sausage, you
Yes.
cut it like that, it gets too small. But if you slice it this way, it stays long.
Yes. Okay. Show them how to slice the length.
This
real quick.
is
Yes.
how you create length in your slicing. You cut one end off and
Oh
then go that way.
man, do y'all
And
smell
that's the
that?
finished
That is the finished
product.
dish. Now we need to sprinkle the gremolata over the top.
You do that.
And
Which
make
is
it
this here.
beautiful. And then will you sprinkle some of these
Yes.
onions over the top? I don't want to do it chicken hands. We always have to be careful with that. There you go. Oh, that's
Oh, my
beautiful.
goodness, that
Now
looks
let's drizzle a
great.
little bit of olive oil over it, and then we will be done.
All right.
There we
so,
go. Look at how pretty that is.
chicken
How
and
easy.
sausage gremolata.
There you go. Beautiful. Yes.
With your fresh herbs and all this wonderful stuff. Stacy Lyn
good.
Harris.
So good.
Website one more time.
StacyLynHarris.com. Pretty easy.
You want to be a difference maker in the kitchen? StacyLynHarris.com. Thank you for joining us on The Difference today.
We're back on The Difference with Simon T. Bailey talking about his book, Be the Spark. Platinum service to making your customer the guest. But how do you transmit this information to the next generation?
Yeah, so it first starts with understanding that people size you up in the first 3 to 7 seconds. In 3 to 7 seconds, people are deciding no, like, and trust. So the goal is to talk less, listen more. When I talk less and listen more, I ask questions.
That's a big thing for women.
You see, I'm just listening.
I see, that's very
I
good.
haven't said a word.
Sparking,
I'm
sparking
passing this
already.
test.
I have 50,000 words, 25,000 words.
Yeah, and some of them you say in your sleep.
3 to 7 seconds. Okay, Simon, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. But it's that goal of you knowing that you've been listened to makes you feel like, whoa, I'm valued because I get to talk about myself. People love to talk about themselves. So if you want to engage them and spark a conversation, make it about them, not just you.
Yeah, and I think that really ability of somebody to make that a genuine interest.
Yes.
You know, I don't think anybody likes to be treated in a disingenuous way.
Right.
So whenever you take an interest in somebody, truly have an interest. You know, I mean, how are you? Don't let that be a vain and superficial question.
Right.
If they say, I'm not good, you know, don't pull out that,
right.
you know, well, I'll be praying for you and on down the road. Find out how you can help them, because as I was mentioning in the beginning of our program about the general purpose and the specific purpose, you know, that epiphany came to me as I was reading Acts chapter 3, and Paul and John are headed, or Peter and John are headed into the temple. And now going to the temple to pray, that's a general thing. Everybody goes to the temple to pray, but they specifically found out what God wanted them to do when they heard the crippled man, and they said to him, silver and gold I do not have. They took a personal interest in his problem and how they could solve it. And if they would have gone to church like normal people go to church, they'd been like, oh, bless his heart, and you know, we're going to add him to the prayer list. We're going to pray for you in this service, instead of saying, no, let's stop what we're doing right now and see what we can do to be of service.
Wow.
And I think when people find those moments, they have to really stop and say, okay, this is the specific thing that God wanted me to do today. And that really, for me, is what generates the spark.
So you know what's so powerful about what you said is there's a difference between selling and connecting. When you sell, that's a transaction, but when you connect, that's a relationship.
Yeah.
And what those disciples did, they took time to build a relationship. And relationship is I relate to the cargo in your ship. So wherever you were going on the ocean of life, wherever you are, we now have a relationship.
Yeah, we found our common ground. You know, now, whenever you have the opportunity to travel and engage with people, how do you see these trends finding a place and a platform in a, you know, technology-driven world, a digital platform world, an 8-second attention span world? You know, you're talking about engagement and connection, and those things require investment, and 7 to 8 seconds is not a lot of time to make that exchange.
Sure. So 3 quick things. First thing, research says people touch their smartphones, devices 80 to 150 times a day. Okay. Second thing, Chewy.com will receive a call from a person saying, I forgot to cancel my subscription because my pet passed away. Chewy.com will refund their money, but here's what they will do. The next day, a van pulls up at the house with a sympathy card and flowers from Chewy.com because they understand in a high-tech world, how do they be high-touch and uber responsive to connect with you. The third thing is we are now in the recommendation economy. So doctors are being rated, professors are being rated, and everybody has to think, when I have a moment with you, how do I make that moment genuine?
Churches are being rated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can go and find out what reviews online are about the church you go to on Sunday. You know, what used to be sacred is now criticized.
Yes.
And you can either decide that that's wrong or you can do something about it. You know?
So every church, every business, every organization has to say, how do we embed the chip? I'm going to borrow a line from Disney, not that we're trying to make the church a Mickey Mouse operation.
No,
But you know what? If we treated every Sunday like opening day,
That's right. So every usher, the parking lot attendants, everybody understands this might be the moment. You may never come back to this church again.
Correct.
Did we touch you? Did we make you feel valuable? Did we see you? Because that's an emotional deposit into your emotional bank account. As the interest accrues in the account, you become the unofficial marketing department for this church, for this business, and you will yelp to others about what just happened.
Something I tell the staff and the team members here at Cornerstone is value is added when engagement is increased. The more that I can engage you personally, spiritually, financially, emotionally, the more value that I represent in your life. And as a ministry, that's what we want to do. We want to add value to somebody. We want them to feel like, hey, the reason I'm a part of that is because this is what I receive from it. And if we're basically the conduit through which God can send the blessings that He has for that person through the ministry, then we've increased engagement and we've added value. And you know, in a high-tech, fast-paced world, it's really those places of engagement that whenever all of the superficial stuff, when the Wi-Fi goes out, you know, who are they going to reach for? Who are they going to turn to? It's going to be the people that were there to say, you know what, regardless of what the social media profile is, regardless of what the bank account says, we care about you. You know, that's that high-touch capacity that really makes a difference. When people want to get information from Simon T. Bailey in their hands, what's the best place for them to do it?
They can go to SimonTBailey.com.
Great. Well, SimonTBailey.com is just a website, but the individual sitting here on the couch with us is a breakthrough strategist, and an innovator that, I mean, we've only had 8 minutes here, and I've already come up with like 17 things that I need to get done in the next 5 minutes. But Simon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Spark, 5 platinum things that you can do for customer service. I assure you, it'll change every relationship you have, both in your professional life and in your personal life. You don't want to live another day without getting this book in your hands. Thank you for being here. We'll be right back after this.
Do you want to learn more about the show? Follow us on Facebook at Matt and Kendall Hagee, on Instagram at Matt Hagee and at Kendall Hagee, on Twitter at Matt Hagee and at Kendall Hagee. The Difference with Matt and Kendall Hagee.
You and your family can explore Israel with Pastor Matt, Kendall, and their children on the 2020 Israel Family Trip. This isn't your typical pilgrimage. This fun and exciting trip is designed for families. More than just visiting historical places, past will meet present as you sail across the Sea of Galilee. Discover ancient antiquities while on an archaeological dig. Recreate the day-to-day life of an ancient biblical village, including herding sheep and making cheese. Float on the Dead Sea and swim in the Mediterranean. Take communion at the Garden Tomb and be baptized in the Jordan River. Whether you're riding ATVs across the desert or taking part in a camel caravan, this is the perfect way to bring the Bible to life for you and your family. Space is limited, so call or go to jhm.org for more information and reserve your spot on this one-of-a-kind tour today.
Go and tell the world that Jesus came, died, and rose again for the forgiveness of your sins. Go and share the good news of your salvation. Take it into the furthermost corners of the world. This charge is for every Christian, but not every Christian knows how to preach amongst the day-to-day rhythms of life. We do, and we can do this together. Connect your passion with ours. Become a Legacy partner today. Call the number on your screen or go to jhm.org/legacy.
I certainly hope you enjoyed this program as much as I did. Simon T. Bailey always challenges me to think and consider the things that I'm doing and the difference that they make. I also want to thank Stacy Lyn Harris for always being a difference maker each and every time we have her in the kitchen here with Kendall and I on The Difference.
Yes, we would love to stay connected with you. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Leave a comment and join the conversation about The Difference. Tell us what you like and what you would like to see on the next show.
We'd love to have you join us here in San Antonio for one of our services at Cornerstone if you're ever in the area. And as always, we want to thank you for watching our program today and for each and every one of you who partner with this ministry, helping us carry all of the gospel to all of the world and to every generation. We thank God for the investment that you've made in lives that you are touching even now. Kendall and I have also started a brand new discussion on a brand new platform, a podcast. And if you'd like to be a part of that conversation, our purpose is to help you discover the difference that Christ can make in your everyday life. We encourage you to join us today. Just simply subscribe and let us know what you think. And we look forward to seeing you very soon on The Difference.